Hello, America. Big Glue here on day 40 of my personal quarantine from the global pandemic coronavirus. Now, day 40 is a significant day because the meaning of quarantine means just that quarantina, 40 days. So for me, 40 days is significant. Now, what am I doing? I'm just sitting back here trying to do my part in slowing the spread of coronavirus. Now, can't do much, just an old guy. Sitting here in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. And today's video is basically a promise that I made to a good friend of mine to try to point out perhaps a different way of looking at things. So I told him recently that I was going to dedicate my next video to him. He is I don't want to say a classmate because we went to the same high school, but he was a little bit ahead of me. His younger brother was in my class. He was an athlete, big guy, likable guy. Everybody liked him. Everybody still likes him. He's a Vietnam War vet. Left high school to go to Vietnam. Came back, married his high school sweetheart. Served a terrific career in the United States Postal Service. He's a businessman, small business. His wife and he are involved in a small business back in my hometown of Rochester, New York. A great guy. He's an American hero, as far as I'm concerned. He and I have different political points of view, but in our lively Facebook conversations, we always seem to find some middle ground. And so this video is dedicated to that middle ground and to my good friend, John DiCarlo. So here we go. Anyway, no two people on earth, and I mean that, no two people can have the same views on everything. And it's actually more often that they don't. Let me point this out. If two people are sitting at a table, and in the middle of the table, there's a basketball, right in the middle of the table. And both of you people are at the same table, and you're looking at that basketball. Unless you're sitting on each other's lap, and even then, it really can't happen, you're not seeing the same thing. Whether you call it the front, the back, one person's looking at one side of the basketball and the other person's looking at the other side. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to go back and relate a story about when I was, a teenager, back in the 60s. They were controversial times. I was struggling with the notion about joining the military, going to war. I was born on a military base. I was born on an Air Force base. My dad was a military guy. All my uncles served in World War II. At one time, my grandparents had every son in every branch of the service, son or son-in-law, in every branch of the service. So, needless to say, it was always a foregone conclusion that, particularly the males in our family, were going to pursue some sort of service in the military. Well, I was conflicted over that. Keep in mind that was during the Vietnam War, and many of my friends, including the fella who this video is dedicated to, they were seeing some terrible things. And those kids that went to Vietnam, many of them didn't come back. Many were friends and relatives of mine. But then that's not the entire story. The ones that did come back, a whole variety of those fellows came back with problems. And they were big problems. And as it turns out, they impacted the remainder of their lives in a way that they could have never concluded when they hopped on either the plane or boat or however they got there. That's the way their life was going to finish out. So I was at the younger end of that, and I had seen plenty of it before it became my turn. And so I really couldn't talk to my father about that. There was only one way that way. And my uncles were the same thing. There was only one opinion in our family that way. So as I did almost every day, you've heard me talk about this, I went over to my grandparents who lived 2 doors from me. And my grandfather was an old man. He used to sit out in front of on the steps every day in front of the house and just sit there, enjoying the latter years of his life. So one day I went there, as I did often and almost every day. And I sat down next to him and I said, "Grandpa, what are you doing today, Grandpa?" He says, "Son, I watched a spring of chicken passing by." What he meant was he watched the people going by, and if there was a pretty girl, he called them a spring chicken. So, and he says, "What do you want? You should go home. Here's a sponge." Call me a sponge. That means a freeloader. I said, "I'm not going home. I came over here to ask you something." "What's the matter?" "I got no money. You don't ask me for no money." "No, I don't need any money. I got to ask you something serious." He goes, "What's it at?" I go, "Well, there's a lot of people that are talking about having to go to war. And, I'm getting to that point where I got to make a choice. And some people are saying that it's good, that you should go. And some people are saying that it's not good and you shouldn't go. And I'm confused. I don't know what to do. You sent all your boys to war. Now they all came back, so who knows better than you? I can't talk to my father. I can't talk to my uncles. What do you think?" He goes, "Well, son, you got to take it whatever come." I go, "I understand that. You say that for everything. But this is not a case of just accepting what the situation is. I have to make a choice. And I don't know whether I should go one way or I should go the other way, because I don't know which one is right." He goes, "Well, you got to look at both the sides." I go, "Okay, what do you mean?" "Well, every man is he's got a left foot and he's got a right foot. And you know why you got to have a left foot and a right foot?" And I said, Well, I mean, I guess I know why. He says, you don't even know. You don't know why, huh? I go, well, I don't know. Why would you even think about that? He says, because if you got two left foot, you're gonna walk around the circle. And if you got a two right foot, you're gonna walk around the other circle. That's why you gotta have a left foot and you gotta have a right foot. That's just so you can walk a straight line. Now go home. You're a sponge. Go home. I go, okay. So I got up and I went in and I saw my grandmother. I kissed her and she gave me a hug and gave me something to drink and probably gave me a cookie or something like that. And I kissed her, I told her I loved her, and I went home. But I thought about that. And it gave me a little bit of introspection on being flexible, trying to look at both sides of a situation. And so I like to offer this to all you friends. Some people are right-handed. Some people are left-handed. Some people have a tendency to use the right side of their brain for more things, which is supposed to be different from the left side of your brain. One's more creative, one's more practical. But the fact of the matter is that most of us have a right hand and a left hand, and a left foot and a right foot. And we have two sides of our brain. And we get to use them. Now, some people, like my friend John DiCarlo, he hits from the left side. But I'll tell you what, I want him in my lineup because he's going to be probably my cleanup batter. Because when he swings, and he swings from the left side, he's going for the fences. And so I want everybody to keep in mind that a good lineup consists of righties and lefties. And for no other reason, we'll be able to walk a straight line. End of the lesson.